So, um, very good afternoon uh, to Brazil and very good evening for Indian students. I would like to introduce Mr. Daniel Balaban, who is a economics and he is MSc in International Relation, MBA in Finance and specialist in public budget and fiscal policy. Since August 2011, he is the director and representative of the World Food Program, Center of Excellence Against Hunger in Brazil. The World Food Program Center of Excellence Against Hunger is a peace center in South-South best practice sharing. It is a joint initiative between World Food Program and the government of Brazil to enable the capacity development of national governments in the area of food and nutrition security. Daniel Balaban acted over 10 years in the areas of finance and planning in business, consulting firms, and foundations of welfare facilities. In 1994, he became finance analyst of Brazil's Ministry of Finance, having served as economic advisor to the Secretary of the Treasury and National Coordinator for Economic Studies of the Secretariat of National Treasury. In 2003, he served as the Special Advisor to the Secretary of the Council of Economic and Social Development under the presidency of the Federative Republic of Brazil. We are very happy that he has agreed to listen to you all today. So, a warm welcome to the Department of Geography, Adamas University, India. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. I don't know if the pronunciation is correct.
It's correct.
Kasturi Mukherjee.
Yes,
It's correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, correct.
Okay, Dr. Kasturi Mukherjee, for the invitation. It's a pleasure for me to be with you in the Adamas University. The idea today is to talk with you. It's not a lecture, it's a conversation about the increase of hunger and inequality and extreme poverty in the world and in India. Well, what are the causes that we are facing to have the increase of hunger and inequality in the world? So I will share with you a very brief presentation about this issue. And I believe it's very important to understand first the concept of poverty. What is poverty? What we call poverty? So poverty is the situation of those who do not have the basic conditions to guarantee their survival with quality of life and dignity. So the people that don't have conditions to live with quality, they are considered poor. Absolute or extreme poverty is the state of people who do not have the basic requirements to survive. So the people that if you don't help, they will die because they cannot afford, they cannot have even the minimum to survive, like a healthy meal. So poverty can be characterized by encompassing different aspects of individual lives, such as lack of essential goods. Sometimes we don't have something that we would like to have, and we say, oh, I cannot afford because I don't have conditions. I'm poor. I cannot take these services. So, like food that you like to eat, like a clothes that you like to buy, like a health care that you cannot afford, like a housing, like to live in a house, a beautiful house. So this is conditions that we face all over the world. So also social deprivation is also one of the main characteristics of poverty. That is the inability of people to participate equally in society. As you know, we live here in Brazil in a very unequal society. I believe in India, I went to India sometimes, it's the same. Yes. We have high inequalities. So it's the situation, and we need to discuss why we live in this kind of society, why we consider this natural, why we consider this normal, because it's not. Let's discuss this in a few minutes. But how the international organizations, they decided to measure the poverty in the road. So they created a concept of poverty line. What is a poverty line? Is a line in what poverty line or international poverty line is is the monetary limit created to designate when an individual is living in poverty. If you don't have the conditions of that monetary limit, so if you don't afford, if you don't get in a month or in a day that limit, you are considered living below the poverty line, okay, in their country, so they can be considered poor. This calculation was created by the World Bank, and it's followed by different international organizations. The limit is different in some countries. Okay, it's not the same limit in all the countries, but it's something that was created to designate who are the people that are above the limit of the poverty line or below the limit of poverty line. So in 2018, the World Bank started to adopt this new reference for the indicator. And this indicator, it's like I said, it's very different between countries. So we have nowadays three extreme poverty ranges for countries with different income levels. $1.90 per day, okay, because we use dollars just to, because the countries, they have different currencies. We need to use one currency. So we took the dollar. Below $190 per day for high income countries, it's low if you don't have. 3.52 cents, 20 cents per day for lower and middle income countries, and 5.5 dollars for upper middle income countries. So this is what Brazil is, an upper middle income country. So now in Brazil, who lives with less than $5.50 per day is considered below the extreme poverty. I believe that India is the same, is an upper middle income country, considered an upper middle income country in the world. Let's now try to understand the causes of poverty. What make people to become a poor people? What make this? So there are different reasons that can lead to the growth and worsening of poverty in a given region. And I put the four main reasons. One is economic, okay? Social and unfair, inadequate tax systems, social, cultural, social discrimination related to race and gender, social exclusion, and very rapid population growth. This is one of the problems that Brazil faces until now, okay? Historical, Brazil was a colony from Portugal, okay? And all the countries that were that we used to leave the colonialism, like India, you know, the problems that it caused to the social population in the country. So this is one of the cases. Like in Africa, I live and I work so much with the countries in Africa. 2 weeks ago, I was in Republic Democratic of Congo. And if you see the history of these countries, you see the problems that they faced with the colonialism and the terror that the colonialism brought to the countries in Africa. And of course, in India and Brazil also. So colonialism and the existence of an authoritarian past in the country. The third cause of poverty is natural. Countries that they have natural disaster, diseases, extreme climates and problems, natural problems. And of course, the fourth is the political legal existence of corruption, malfunction or non-existence of democratic systems, military, persistent wars and conflicts, like Myanmar. Now they have a military coup, a military group in the country, and a lot of people in the line in the country. And I could mention that some countries they have this four, like I would mention that Brazil has the four: the economic, the historical, the natural. Some no, not the natural, not so much, because Brazil is a very good country in terms of natural disasters. But these three: political, legal, historical, and economic problems. So this is the main causes of poverty in the world. Of course, we have other causes, but all the causes, they are under these four main issues in my opinion. So now, what are the consequences of poverty? What are the consequences of extreme poverty? The first one is hungry. People that die of hunger. Now, here in Brazil, we have 20 million, is the last data that we have, that they are facing severe hunger in the country. And Brazil is a country that has food as one of the greatest producers of food in the world. It's not a problem of producing of food. We have food for everybody, but we have 20 million people that don't have access to food. Of course, poverty, you have low life expectancy. The poor, they don't live so much because of the hungry, the illnesses that they have. We have a lack of employment opportunity. They don't have access to education. We have lack of sanitation and drinking water, political instability and violence, because there's a linkage between poverty and political instability. The countries where we have more poverty, more unstable they are, because of course the people, they don't agree with the situation and they want to change in the country. We have social discrimination. We have a social cost. This is very important. I would like to mention, because the cost of poverty, the cost of hunger is very high for any country in the world. It's better, and I can prove that. I'm an economist. I have access to several studies. It's better to invest in social policies than to face the cost of poverty and the cost of hunger to a country. So it's much better to make social policies, to make social programs in the country to face these issues of poverty and country. So you will, at the end of the day, you will have, it's more cheap for the country to invest in these social policies than to face the costs that a country has to deal with poverty, to deal with hunger. This is something simple, but our leaders don't understand so much. And they prefer to maintain the people in poverty than to deal with the consequences of a high investment in social policies. What is the situation in the road nowadays? It's important to see that this is the data of World Bank in 2020. So it's 2 years ago. It was in the middle of pandemic. We had around 735 million people living with less than $1.90. Is as I mentioned, we have different levels, but these people, they are living with less than $1.90. If we put $5.50, would double this number. So, according to the World Bank, 5 countries they have the highest level of extreme poverty in the world. South Sudan, you know the history. Yesterday, I was watching a movie about the situation in Sudan and the creation of South Sudan. So it's something that they have the 4 causes. They have natural disasters, they have a political problem, they have the colonialism situation there, and other problems that they are facing. So this is that we say the main causes that bring a country to become with more than 80% of population. So of each 5 people, 4, they are in extreme poverty in the country. Equatorial Guinea, Madagascar, Guinea-Bissau, Eritrea, all these countries, they are situated in Africa. India is 30% of population. It's a high level, okay, of extreme poverty for a country, a rich country like India, a rich country like Brazil. Brazil is below India, but it's around almost 20% of population. So we are in the same levels of India. And we are middle and upper middle income countries. We are not considered a poor country. So it's, as I mentioned here in Brazil, it's a situation that we need to change. We cannot think that it's a natural situation. No, it's not natural. We can change this picture and we can move on and try to make less people in this situation in the country. And it's possible. I will mention how we can do that in a country like Brazil and India. So what happened in the world? Because we started to decrease the poverty in the world in the last century and the beginning of this century. You can see this red line is the world, okay? India is this blue, and China is very important to show China because China is this one. I don't know if you are seeing well, but until 2015, just 7 years ago, the world was decreasing the poverty. So you can see the world the decline. You can see China decline, and you can see the China here, and you can see India. So what happened in the world? So just for you to understand, between 1990 and 2015, it's just 25 years. The people living with less, with below the line of poverty, with less than $1.90 a day, decreased from 1.9 billion in the world to 735 today. So this means that the share of population considered poor by this definition fell from 36% to 10%. But now we are facing a problem because we started to again increase this the line. Something is wrong in the world. That's what I would like to discuss with you. What is happening? In 2015, a lot of countries started to decrease the investment in social policies. I don't know why, what happened in the road, but some people can try to make a research to discover. I believe it's not so difficult to understand what happened, but at the same time, the social inequalities started to increase and increase so much. Now in the world, we have around 300 people that have the same wealth of 3 billion. I will repeat, 300 people, they have the same wealth of 3 billion people, almost half of the world population. The world nowadays has 7.8 billion inhabitants. So this is something that is unsustainable. It's because these 300 people, they are each year become more rich. Something is wrong with the road. So the road nowadays has around 2,700 approximately billionaires, and they have a wealth greater than 60% of the global population.